Hi everyone, it's me, Jet. Okay, hear me out. Just discovered this super cool film and I've watched it 3 times in the past 3 days. I've told all my friends and family to check it out and hopefully they do. Believe it or not, I found out there's actually a TV show that came before this film and a bunch of other movies that came after it. I don't know how I haven't stumbled upon this before. I'd like to think I know a great deal about obscure puppet stuff, but I'm always finding new things, and this is by far my favorite one. So let's talk about this fascinating piece of obscure puppet media. One I have never heard of, and I'm so glad to have found. It's called The Muppet Movie. At Worldwide Studios, a group of puppets known as the Muppets gather to watch their first film. They get settled in, and the Muppet Movie finally officially begins. The film opens with one of the greatest songs I've ever heard, accompanied by one of the greatest shots I've ever seen.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers. Oh wow, I hate copyright. It's 12 a.m.
The song is called Rainbow Connection, composed by some guy named Paul Williams. We're introduced to a banjo-playing puppet named Kermit, a frog living in a swamp. I'll never know why this song he sings wasn't nominated for an Oscar.
Wa-da-da-dee-da-da-doo, wa-da-da-dee-da-oo.
After this glorious song finishes, freaking Dom DeLuise shows up as Bernie the talent agent. He is impressed by Kermit's skills and tells him he should go to Hollywood.
Wait a minute. There's an ad in here that you should be very interested in. Feast your eyes on that.
Worldwide Studios announces open auditions for frogs wishing to become rich and famous.
And begins his journey by bike. Look at that shot of a puppet biking. That is so impressive. Kermit stops by the El Slizo Cafe, owned by James Coburn, where he encounters Madeline Kahn, my second favorite actress of all time. So as well as Telly Savalas and Carol Kane as Myth, who makes multiple appearances in this movie every time the word myth is mentioned.
No, myth.
Yes?
That songwriter I mentioned before, Paul Williams, shows up as a piano player. At El Slizo, there's a bear performing a very subpar comedy routine. His name is Fozzie Bear. He absolutely butchers his set, but Kermit tries to help save it by doing a dance, which ultimately doesn't go well, and they zoom out of the bar in Fozzie's Studebaker, and some guy named Frank Oz, who I've never heard of, makes a cameo, although I don't know why this is a big deal.
How about you and me putting together an act?
Not sorry. I only work as a single.
Oh, okay.
All right, you talked me into it. We'll be a team.
Oh, good.
Kermit meets a businessman named Doc Hopper, played by Charles Durning, and his assistant Max. Kermit meets a businessman.
Max.
Oh.
Hold on.
We-
Max. Muppet Movie. Oh no, who plays him? Austin Pendleton.
Kermit meets a businessman named Doc Hopper, played by Charles Durning, and his assistant Max, played by Austin Pendleton. They are interested in utilizing Kermit as the mascot for their line of delicious frog legs. Fozzie and Kermit swerve from Doc and Max, who begin to pursue them, and the frog and bear duo continue their Studebaker journey. So off they trek, singing a sweet, sweet song that I can't play due to copyright. They encounter a giant yellow bird who is going to New York. I don't know who that is or if it's a reference to something else. They are continually pursued by Doc and Max and soon get lost and drive off the road nearly into an old church. Inside, the rock band The Electric Mayhem is practicing. The band consists of Dr. Teeth, Floyd Pepper, Janice, Zoot, and Animal with their gopher Scooter. Instead of Kermit and Fozzie explaining their story, they give the band a copy of the film script to read. While Fozzie and Kermit nap, the band decides to help throw them off the path of Doc and Max. They deck out Fozzie's Studebaker, but after Fozzie and Kermit begin their trip again, they are immediately recognized by Doc and Max. They manage to avoid their pursuers, but crash into a funky-looking little whatever named Gonzo and his girlfriend Camilla, driving their toilet-themed bus vehicle. Oh, man. Alas, Gonzo's vehicle ends up upside down on the Studebaker, and ultimately Gonzo joins their adventure. They decide to trade in their vehicle to a car dealership owned by Milton Berle. And due to a fly and the help of Sweetums, portrayed by some dude named Richard Hunt, they get a nice car for $11. Now, they won't break down anymore nor be recognized by Frog Legs crew.
Do you want to try that again without me laughing in the background? You'd be like, Milts and Burls!
You're ruining this! You're ruining this! You shouldn't be... Now, they won't break down anymore nor be recognized by the Frog Legs crew. They head over to the county fair where Elliot Gould is announcing a beauty pageant. We reveal the most beautiful of beauty queens.
Miss Piggy!
Kermit and Miss Piggy immediately make eye contact and fall in love. She sings a song filled with really high notes, and it hasn't left my head. We get some more celebrity cameos, including one of the most famous puppeteers and puppets of all time, Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, in their final film appearance.
You're not going to believe who the winner is, folks. So come now, Charlie. It's their movie. Oh, so 'tis.
And Bob Hope as an ice cream salesman.
And one dragonfly ripple for the frog.
Yucca.
Don't get them mixed up.
Gonzo goes airborne when he purchases too many balloons for his beloved Camilla from freaking Richard Pryor. I can't! And, along with Miss Piggy, the rest of the crew chase him down in the car and catch him. Miss Piggy assumes that she's invited along due to a communication error and suggests they stop for the night. And they do. Kermit and Piggy have a romantic dinner, and their waiter being Steve Martin. Unfortunately, Miss Piggy leaves Kermit alone when she gets a call from her agent. Kermit mopes into the restaurant and meets Rolf. They sing a very interesting duet, with the voices are performed by the same performer, Jim Henderson.
I hope that something better comes along.
Kermit receives a phone call from Doc Hopper, who has kidnapped Miss Piggy and won't release her until Kermit agrees to be their mascot. When Kermit turns himself in, they are presented with a mad scientist, played by Mel Brooks, who has a machine gun that will turn Kermit's brain into mush.
Not a machine gun.
Oh.
No, he's not going to blow Kermit's brains out like that.
It's just... Calm down. When Kermit turns himself in, they are presented with a mad scientist played by Mel Brooks, who is a machine that will turn Kermit's brain into mush and will make him a minion for Doc. But Miss Piggy springs into action and attacks all the evil men.
He won't know you from kosher bacon. That does it!
Mel Brooks falls into the machine and his brains are turned to froggy mush. She then leaves due to a job opportunity, abandoning Kermit again. Kermit rallies the crew back together and they continue their journey. We take a break from the main film and cut back to the Muppet crew watching the film at the movie studio.
I don't care what anybody else says. I'm having a great time.
And we are treated to a Fozzie rendition of America the Beautiful.
Patriotism swells in the heart of the American bear.
They encounter Miss Piggy hitchhiking and pick her up again. We see what Doc Hopper is up to, and he has now hired an evil frog killer to pursue Kermit. The Muppet crew's car breaks down, and they are trapped in the desert. They gather around the fire, considering their next move. Gonzo sings a fine tune called
I'm going to go back there someday.
Kermit wanders away to have a chat with himself about whether he's making the right choices. Then, to save the day, the Electric Mayhem shows up in their bus as they still have the script to the movie Kermit gave it to them earlier in the film, and they knew they were going to get trapped. So the next morning, our full, complete gang sets out to Hollywood, where they have a meeting at 2 p.m. A motorcycle cop stops them, and it turns out to be Max. Max tells Kermit about the frog killer Doc has hired, and Kermit decides it's time to battle it out, man to frog. He tells Max to have Doc meet him at the ghost town they're coming up to and have an old-style Western showdown. The team end up in the ghost town, meeting Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, two inventors who show their new friends some project they've been working on. Animal takes especially fine interest. Doc Hopper and his frog-killing crew pull up to the town, and in true Western fashion, Kermit emerges in Wild Wild West attire. Kermit attempts to persuade Doc to not continue his wrath and gives him a beautiful speech as his friends rally behind him.
Well, If what I'm saying doesn't make any sense to you, well, go ahead and kill me. Alright, boys. Kill him.
But lo and behold, Animal has gotten into one of Bunsen and Beaker's experiments and shoots through the ceiling of a building, having exploded in size. He lets out a massive yell, and the evil men scramble for safety. With that out of the way, the crew continue on to Hollywood and make it just in time. In a manner that would rarely work then, and even more rarely work now, Kermit shows up at the big Hollywood producer of Mr. Lord's office, where Cloris Leachman is the secretary. She initially doesn't wish to let everybody in, but due to her fur allergy, which the Muppets exploit, she is incapacitated and gives up and lets them in. And Mr. Lords is freaking Orson Welles. He signs Kermit and his friends to the standard rich and famous contract. They've made it. We transition to Kermit giving the audience a little self-reflection, and the film ends with a lovely song and a gathering of all the Muppets. The film ends as we are heading back to the movie theater where all the Muppets are watching their film. And that's the end of my greatest film finding of 2025. Wow, incredible. No, surprisingly, there was a show that came before this. I asked a few friends and relatives if they heard of it, and they hadn't. It was called The Muppet Show and was about the behind the scenes of a variety show starring the titular Muppets and a celebrity guest star each episode. After the Muppet movie, there were many more films that unfortunately have been forgotten to time. But when it comes to the Muppet movie, overall, this is one of the greatest films of all time, and I'm surprised no one has even mentioned it to me before. A somehow star-studded cast, an easy-to-follow plot, some of the most fantastic songs ever written, incredibly puppetry some. What does incredibly puppetry some mean?
I don't even know.
And I read it word for word.
Incredible puppetry - some of the best I've ever seen. That's what I was going for.
Okay. Incredible puppetry, some of the best I have ever seen. Many fourth wall breaks, which I will always enjoy, and lovely cinematography. This is a perfect film and is such a slice of happiness in the world of cinema. I look forward to exploring the other works of this group of Muppets and their creator, Jim Henderson, and maybe I'll talk about them on this channel. Give it a watch. I promise you that it'll blow you away. And the Muppet movie should never become a piece of obscure puppet media.
Hi everyone, happy April Fool's Day. If you didn't notice, that was my mother, Mama McPlane, narrating this video. I was excited for a chance to talk about the Muppets, albeit briefly and factually askew, but I hope you enjoyed this piece of the complete opposite of obscure puppet media, and certainly a very fun video for Jet to make. I know I have some new friends here from my Mathmataz video, and I apologize that this is the next video you get to experience, but we'll be back to the regular scheduled programming at the next upload. If you have a piece of obscure puppet media that you'd like me to talk about, leave a comment below or send me an email at jetmcplane@gmail.com. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, making it this far, and remember, I like you just the way you are. Say bye, Mom.
Bye. You sound like me. We should say it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Bye!
What the hell was that all about?